ความจริงคนเราก็สมบูรณ์กันทุกคนอยู่ระบบประสาทได้การสัมผัส
So Luang Por says, actually we're all complete in and of ourselves. We have our nervous system, we have the faculties for sense contact. Partly he was talking about the need for microphones and not needing microphones, that actually we can, if we use our senses, we can all hear quite well. In the capacity of leading our lives, we have to gather together. This is part of being a human being, and gathering together like this then is a time for hearing new things, getting instructions. Our life, we have a physical body, and this is one aspect of what we call nature. In Thai it's Dhamma, the arising of Dhamma. And this is Dhamma itself. And the physical body is very much subject to what we call the passing or the passage of time. In one day, we can divide it up into 24 hours. In 24 hours, there's nature, there's the natural cycle of day and night. In the daytime, it's time that we manage or we organize our lives. We lead our daily lives. We do what's called going about searching. That's our daily lives, searching for work, money, etc. And we do that during the day because it's the light that gives us a chance to do that. At night time we rest. If we rest properly, our body is balanced and we feel at ease, normal. The mind itself is balanced. And so this is the nature of the mind. So it's very important to understand these basic principles. We live in society, we live together. The word society is something you could even apply to your physical body. The physical body is made up of elements, and it's as if these elements gather together in a little society. We talk about faculties, the material body, your sense bases or your limbs. Everything forms up together, gathers together for a period of time, and then it changes. There's a period of growth. Time goes by and you grow. But then time goes by and there's another change, and we call this decline, deterioration. So we have to study these simple things as human beings. Then Luang Por recited an old poem, a Dhamma poem, which translates roughly as human beings, we have this human life, and it's a good opportunity because we have wisdom, we have intelligence in order to lead our lives. So all of you, please then, I encourage you all to investigate your life and investigate truth deeply. Stick close to principles of Dhamma and have those as the things which guide your way. What Dhamma means is, Dhamma is those spiritual qualities that lead to the happiness of peace. Dhamma is knowing what things lead away from obstacles or away from decline. So managing our life as a human being means learning how to adapt and modify ourselves. If we can't, then our lives won't be of as benefit. So it's like these material elements in the world, just the elements of nature or raw materials in the world. We have to learn how to modify them, adapt them, change them in order to take benefit from the material world. So this is some first words, some things we have to understand in the beginning. The Buddha said, Gicco manusopatilapo, which means this human life is hard to attain, or this human birth is rare in the world. So we have to look at our own body or our human being as fertile territory. Being a human being means we have the capacity, we are high-minded beings, we have the capacity to lead a life which is of true value and benefit. Just like the Earth's surface, like here in Norway, on the Earth's surface there's so many elements, so many minerals, so many natural resources. But in order to be of benefit, we have to have the correct knowledge. If we don't know how to skillfully or correctly make use of all of these elements or minerals and modify them and adapt them, we'll end up destroying them and they end up disappearing. So, as human beings, manusas, we're bound up with Dhamma. It's our nature to be Dhamma. You can look at the body like a landscape or a terrain or an area, a country. As a manusa, as a human being, we're made up of many elements. Our terrain is made of many elements that come together and form a body. This body of ours has a certain program, a certain time limit. It's not very long. So what we can do then is observe our body or life in this way and remove those things which obstruct our vision. The things which obstruct us you can call self-importance or self-conceit or conceiving of an ego, these kind of words. The world is made of elements of Dhamma, earth, air, water, fire. It's one way of you can look at the world. And so we know how to alter and modify them and make use of them in order to lead lives of comfort. That means keeping away the discomfort or the suffering or the pain of life. And also then in our own lives, we have to modify our perspectives. In our language or in Pali we call these ditthi, that means views or attitudes. We think the body is ours, but if you look in a very unbiased or neutral way, you see the body is not ours. The body is just nature. And then we can view each other in the same way. The body is just nature, and there's nothing we can do to prevent the truth of nature from arising in the body. So think like this in order to reduce attachment and clinging to self-identity. And that will lead to being able to bring up or establish this truly good or beneficial Dhamma, which we call sati or mindfulness. The Buddha called this a quality of great benefit which protects and nurtures the world. It nurtures us when we develop a mind which is complete in sati. So when we talk about being mindful of the body, a lot of people don't really understand. They think of the body as one thing, just in the same way they think of the whole world or the earth as just one big piece of earth. But actually, we divide up the earth, or you can analyze and break up the earth into so many different ways, so many things which have come together temporarily. In minerals, for example, potassium, zinc, aluminium, magnesium. So understand the nature of the body is the same way. It's just these temporary elements come together and we can't control any of it. When the body comes together based on causes and conditions, then there's nothing we can do to stop it from changing. So when the body changes in the way we like, then we take delight in that, we like that. But that's a deluded way of thinking, because there are times when the body changes in a way we don't like, and we call this decline. And we try to push away and deny this type of decline. For example, old age. Nobody wants it, but nobody can avoid it. So we have all the true or correct relevant information available. We can see it and experience it every day, but we refuse to accept it, and because of that our minds are constantly bound up with anxiety and we're never free. We feel lost, like there's no refuge. So see this for yourselves. So the Buddha said that nature, or the ultimate reality, or the ultimate truth of life, is what reminds us. It's what brings up sati, or mindfulness, so we don't get lost. Our teachers, the former teachers from the Buddha onwards, were constantly emphasizing that this is the simple truth of life which we can't deny. So constantly taught us to relate to old age, sickness and death as simply ordinary or natural. If we use these reflections to remind us, then the delusion or the darkness or blindness in our lives will change and light and clarity will arise. Actually, we see that old age, sickness and death are completely correct, or that nature has total rights over these things, but we don't. And that way we won't fall under the power of delighting in what you can call mental intoxication or drunkenness. This intoxication which, if it's in the world, really takes society into decline. If it's actual drunkenness, it leads to accidents, people die, you lose your property. So this kind of mental delusion or intoxication, infatuation, we see these things to abandon that. And when we understand that we're just elements of nature, then we establish mindfulness in ourselves, and then we try to eliminate those wrong way of thinking. Just in the same way that when you have dirt on your clothes, then you wash your clothes because of the smell and the dirt. You try to reduce the smell, reduce some of the dirt. It never goes away completely, but at least it reduces. So when you think in this way, contemplating nature correctly, your mind becomes peaceful, you become quiet, and your moods or your thoughts become sabai, you become at ease. So this is something we all have to understand. So talking about mindfulness, which we call the Dhamma, or the quality of great benefit, this is what protects us from falling into unwholesome or states of suffering. So we have to establish mindfulness very well onto this terrain, or onto our territory, or this area of ours, with mindfulness and clear comprehension directed towards our body and the elements of the body. So for contemplation, bringing up what we call kaya gata sati, literally mindfulness gone to the body, or mindfulness of the body, or directed towards the body. Take up the body for contemplation and see the nature of the truth of our body. Its functioning characteristic is to arise or come together, then change, and then decline. In Pali we say upada iti angka. The body arises in the beginning, changes in the middle, and disappears in the end. So this is truth, and it expresses in our daily lives. The body manifests in our daily lives through our actions, behavior. So all of our bodily actions have, you could say, positive and negative, or the actions which are good and beneficial, and the actions which are negative and disadvantageous. Because basically we are a slave of our own mind, our thoughts, our moods, etc. And so our mind, it's very important to understand it has health as its nature, wellness. It can be healthy or unhealthy. So the mind is not always good. The mind is positive and it can be negative. For the mind to be good, at the very least we need certain principles of Dhamma or truth. Otherwise we'll always do the things which actually we shouldn't do. It's just like, if the mind is not pure, it's just like water which is impurities or has dirt in it. It's just not clean and good. So everybody observe yourself. Don't look at other people. Learn to look at your moods and your minds. For example, you might notice, okay, today I'm in a bad mood. My mind is agitated, I'm stirred up, I'm negative, I'm angry, whatever. This unwholesome state of mind will express itself in your actions of body, and that will have consequences or results for the people around you, because we're always living in some kind of community. At the very least we interact with our family members. So you can see, okay, today my mind is unwholesome, and straight away it's what we call akusala cit, the unwholesome mental states. Straight away you don't like it, you don't want it, and things arise, you don't want them. For example, if somebody you live with or you have to deal with criticizes you, straight away criticism usually makes you feel agitated, you feel bad. So the Buddha taught us to have sati, mindfulness, in order to know how to tame or restrain or check the mind. We have to be firm and to know how to develop patient endurance. In Pali, this word patient endurance, the Buddha called it a quality which leads to great beauty. Why does it make you beautiful? Because nothing can affect you, nothing can agitate you. And so with mindfulness, you know, my mind is agitated, I'm unhappy, I'm stirred up. And so then you know, now I have to be careful, because these kind of mental states, they're like poison, they're very dangerous. And so you know how to protect yourself with the quality of patient endurance or forbearance. So you have to learn how to adapt yourself. You have to make changes in your life, because you know now, anger, greed, these things are like rubbish. You have to abandon them. They're dangerous. So you bear with these things at first. You understand these are just mental states which arise, and you learn how to manage and cope with it using sati. You don't foster or encourage or nurture these unwholesome mental states, just in the same way that a fire needs fuel in order to light in the first place and then to flare up with flames. Without this fuel, the fire goes out. So you don't add fuel to the fire of anger or greed. You learn how to abandon these unwholesome states. Partly you have to learn how to accept that in society it's just ordinary that you won't get the things you like. Things like criticism. We're always open or receptive to the environment around us. It's just like these mobile phones you all have. If you have a signal, then you can receive calls. So you have to learn how to relate to your moods. You can receive them, but don't pick them up. So it's like compared to phone calls, the calls come in, but you don't pick them up. Then the moods go out. They're not dangerous. So in this way you learn how to be free from anger and free from fear. You see how anger is a cycle. If you're angry, or somebody's angry with you, then they criticize you, and if you speak to them back with anger, then this builds up into a cycle. This can be very dangerous. You can create enemies like this. So the Buddha taught us to abandon any unwholesome states of mind using mindfulness and patient endurance. So when or how do we use these qualities? You use them in all of your daily life, because we're always living in society, and we relate to society through our what we call sense faculties. We all have ears, we all have eyes. So we have to be mindful and aware and restrain our eyes and ears. We have to know what's beneficial. We have to know how to develop a good or happy or wholesome state of mind, beginning with the quality of metta, loving kindness. Develop metta. Have metta for others. Wish them well. Excuse me. If other people have metta or loving kindness for us, and we have metta for them, then this gives rise to a true spirit of friendship, or the sense of all being relatives. You end up protecting one another. Everywhere you look, you just see good friends and relatives. So the Buddha taught us to live with mindfulness clearly established. Observe the body, watch the mind. Understand the body is like this. This is the nature of the body. The mind is like this. This is the nature of the mind. For this you need sati, mindfulness. So we all have this skill. It's something we can then train in. And the way to train Dhamma practice is just like when you're studying at school. At first you have to follow the lessons or the steps or the instructions that your teacher gives you, and then develop it on your own, improve and perfect it on your own. At first, when you begin to do Dhamma practice, you may hear some instructions, and usually the gist is, make the mind peaceful. But your mind never gets peaceful. So then at the very least, develop self-awareness, or be aware of your mind and body. At first you still have all these kind of wishes. You want the mind this way, you want the mind that way, or you want things this way and you want that way. And the mind, we call this proliferation. The mind proliferates because of all this endless sense contact. This is our media, this is the real social media, our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. The mind proliferates and delight or happiness arises. So with mindfulness you just don't follow it. You understand that all these moods, whether delight or aversion, it's just like a guest visiting you for a while, temporarily visiting your space. All kinds of feelings, pleasant feelings, happiness is what we call sukha vedana. Unhappy feelings, feeling miserable, dukkha vedana. So to sum up, delighting or happiness, pleasure seeking, this is a false emotion, it's fake. Unhappiness, sadness is also not where truth lies. So see with mindfulness that these things are just what we call dukkha arising and dukkha passing away. It's the cycle. So we don't get lost or we don't get interested in any of this whole cycle of our emotional roller coaster or the emotional up and downs. It's just Vedana, feelings. If you get praised, then also don't worry about it, don't buy into it. It's just like when you go to like a new place or you go into somebody's house and there's a dog, and the dog might come up to you and sniff you and greet you, you just say hello and then leave it. Or you know, this dog's not dangerous, it won't bite me, and that's all you have to know, nothing more. So all mental states are like this, they just pass away. Pleasant emotions, painful emotions, what we call somanassa, domanassa, it's just like that, they all pass away. So there's no need for this delighting to arise in the world. We have to abandon what we call sankharas, all these mental proliferations. If you can, then your mind will be at ease, you won't be agitated. Excuse me. With mindfulness, you see the body, you see the mind. You see sukha and you see dukkha, and you see the process. What's all this made of? How does all this arise? And this way then you abandon what's called heedlessness or distraction. Then peace will arise on its own. Even if you get praised, you don't get happy. And if you get criticized, you won't be upset. In fact, you can even thank somebody for criticizing you. Why? Because they're telling you the truth. If somebody's criticizing you, they're pointing out the flaws in you. And as Dhamma practitioners, we know that's true. Why is this body flawed? Because it's intrinsically not clean, it's not permanent, it comes together based on causes and conditions, and ultimately will decline. So there's nothing really great about this body. And so there's no need to be happy at praise or upset with criticism. This is the way to let go of all clinging. So we develop what's called kaya viveka, bodily seclusion. Then that leads to citta viveka, mental seclusion or mental peace. And when you feel this mental seclusion, then you feel full and complete and at ease. Just like somebody who has great wealth. They feel good simply because they know they have enough in life. They're not going to be worried about will I be hot, will I be cold, will I be hungry, etc. And so when you can do this with your mind, it's like raising up your status. It's becoming quite a special person. Somebody who never experiences anger, goes beyond desire, realizes emptiness. This is quite special. This is what we call a clean mind, a peaceful heart. We call this removing and abandoning heat and intoxication. And it's all this Dhamma, it's to be found right here. You find it right within your own body and mind, not anywhere else. But we have to cultivate it, just in the same way that you have to feed yourself every day, otherwise you'll be weak. In the same way we have to give ourselves what we call food for the heart or food for the mind. Meditation, maybe before you sleep, at night, in the evening. Actually, you can practice all the time. Even when you're eating, you're breathing in, you're breathing out. So mindfulness is something you can develop all the time. You can cultivate awareness all the time. And this will build up what we call a healthy immune system or a healthy wellness system. So the Buddha compared sati or mindfulness to an elephant's footprint. Of all the animals in the forest, the elephant is by far the largest, and its footprint is the largest. The footprint of every animal can fit inside the footprint of the elephant. And in the same way, sati or mindfulness is the wholesome quality that encompasses all other wholesome qualities. Every wholesome quality is somehow bound up with sati or mindfulness. Even things like samma ajiva, what we call right livelihood, how you lead your life. This needs mindfulness. You have to be very careful. You have to be very aware. So train like this. Abandon the past. Abandon the future. Be in the present moment. Cultivate what we call in Thai puru. It's a specific expression. It means awareness itself, or that quality of awareness. Literally means the one who knows, but it's not referring to a specific being or a greater superego. It's just the quality of awareness. So breathe in. As you breathe in, you're still alive. As you breathe out, you're extending your life. So be awake and be aware. So this is the way to what we call true growth or true development. The Buddha said, Viriyena dukkhang maccheti, that you conquer suffering through striving or through effort. So right here, right now, we all have the necessary faculties. We are all complete or whole for the purpose of self-development. So develop yourselves, raise up your status, improve yourself, build up a healthy immune system. And if you're healthy, then you won't lose heart or get disappointed or fearful or negative in life. So all of these things we call bun, merit. Whether it's the merit which begins with dana, generosity, giving, like the offerings you make, or the second level or the next step, avoiding unwholesome actions by keeping what we call sila, cultivating ethics or integrity, principles of precepts or morality. These things protect you by not making yourself or others hot or agitated. You become what's called a pujaniya bukkala. This is a person who is truly worthy of praise or worship. People will really praise you simply because you don't do anything bad, and you will be one whose mind or whose life is clean and bright and clear. And so, in this way, your life will go smoothly. But this takes training and practice. So today, I don't really have much to offer you. I've just come here and I'm happy to meet with you as my friends. I view all of you as my friends in old age, sickness and death. You're like my relatives, and these are the truth that none of us can deny. We're all related in the sense that we're all going to get old, we all get sick, and we're all going to die. And if we can see things like this and realize that more and more, then we develop our lives. We're able to develop our life to a higher level or a fuller state. The Buddha taught us not to be heedless and to be of benefit to ourselves and others. For this we need self-sacrifice and a spirit of letting go. So today I'd like to express my appreciation or my joy. But all of us coming here today, the reason is that we're giving importance to this aspect of our lives, which is that we have this capacity as manusa, as high-minded beings, to develop ourselves to the highest. We can cultivate a mind which is clean, which is peaceful, which is bright and radiant. So today I want to wish everybody here, may you all be healthy, may you be happy, may you develop loving kindness to support yourself and be of support and be of benefit in your lives to yourself and everyone else, now and always.
สัพพะโลกาวินิโมโตสัพพะสันตาภวันจิโตสัพพะเวรมติกันโตนิพุตโตจัตุวังภวสาบิติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวันวันตรายโยสุขีติกายุโกภวะปิวาลนาสีเลสเนจังวุฒาปัจจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมาวัฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังภาลังอายุวัตตะโกดันนวัตตะโกสิริวัตตะโกยัสสวัตตะโกบัลลวัตตะโกวันนวัตตะโกสุขวัตตะโกโหตุสัพพตาตุขโรกัมมยาเวราสุขสาธุจุปาทวะอเนกาอันตรายปิวินา สันตุจเตชัสสะชยสิทธิธนังลาภังโสทิภกยังสุขังบาลังสิริยายุจวันโนจะพองคังวัฏเตชยสวะสัตวาสัจจังอายุจะสิวะเสติภวันตุเตภวัตุสาพมังกรังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสติภวันตุเตภวัตุสัพพมังกรังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพธัมมานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสติภวันตุเตภวัตุสัพพมังกรังราคันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสติภวันตุเตมาทางนี้กลางคืนมาหน่อยกลางคืนมาหลายกลางคืนชั่วโมงเดียวประสาทมันก็เลยบ่อยากสมบูรณ์
He's saying coming here, there's only 1 hour of night time here. And it gets dark for 1 hour, so like our nervous system's all a bit out of sync. So this is simply the way, this is the nature of the Earth's surface, or the nature of geography. And so we're not used to it, that's all. So it just takes time to adapt, but it's totally normal. People saying everything in life takes adapting and modifying, or we have to learn how to adapt, just like with the conditions here in Norway, and the light or whatever. Also food as well. We have to learn just wherever we go. Life is a constant process of adapting and learning how to relate appropriately to every situation. Yeah. So of course, just saying again how. Just sleeping here just feels different because you're sleeping in the daytime, basically, and you just close your eyes and you try, but it's not quite the same feeling. Or just like eating Norwegian food, it just tastes different. That's all. There's no problem. So of course, saying those of us, it's also talking to the Thai people. We've all come from far away, and so coming to live here, missing home. No need to get homesick. Don't have to miss your home and miss your bed and miss the food you used to eat. Think that actually coming here, we're still on the same Earth's surface, and this Earth's surface of ours, the world, actually it's our mother and father. We talk about Mother Earth in Thai as well, Mea Tharani. So when you think about Mother Earth, wherever you go, you're always with your mother. As long as you're on this planet, you're with your mother. Think that the Earth is nurturing and supporting us, so there's no need to feel sad or homesick. Good night. So Luang Por's giving them kind of classic, like you could call this old folk wisdom, like an old Thai sayings. He started by saying, you come here, you come and make your life in a new country. You have to be diligent, you have to strive hard, and then there are these principles in life, like an old poem. Don't be somebody who goes to bed late and gets up late. Don't be somebody who's afraid to do the dirty work, and don't be somebody who's embarrassed about not having much money, and learn how to adapt and train your nature. So then he was kind of elaborating how basic principles of life begin with getting enough sleep. So it's so easy to stay up late when actually you should be going to bed. You stay up late, whether it's just working or partying or whatever, and then you end up getting up late, and if you get up late, then you're obviously not going to be diligent at work, and you don't advance in life. Just very simple wisdom, early to bed, early to rise. Then don't be embarrassed by doing dirty work. like the villagers or work, life begins with the basics. So things like cleaning toilets, sweeping the roads, doing the sweeping, things which people consider low work or dirty work. Well, this is how we live, and when life is tough or when you start, this is how you have to be willing to do this kind of work, and then don't be embarrassed or afraid of having little money. If you don't have much money, well, then you have to learn how to live life properly, save up your money bit by bit, not spending, unreasonably. Luang Por was warning them, said, don't think that wine and beer is the kind of good things to buy and drink in life. Don't get into these Western habits. And with the food that you eat, understand that vegetables are very good for the body. So know the right kind of food. They're very good for your immune system. He said, look at the big moose and the elk. They're very big and strong, and they live off vegetables. So develop train your characteristics, train yourself to be a good person. So it's ending by saying, so whatever you do, just do your nati. Nati means your job or your role. It applies to all aspects of life, like if you're a mother or at work or whatever you're doing. Do your job in life, whatever task you're doing, do it well, in a way where your life goes smoothly.